The first set was a crucial moment of the match where we were both fighting and trying to see which way it goes. And there was a lot of tension at a certain moment in the tiebreaker. He was leading 4-2 and had a massive opportunity to make something with it. But eventually I found my way back into the match and had to save a few set points. He saved a few as well on my serve. So it became a big battle, getting up to 6-all, and I think that was a defining moment of who's going to be a little bit braver and who's going to deal with the situation a little bit more calmly. And I think there were a few unforced errors that came his way, and I really tried to put as many balls as I could into the court and make it hard for him. I escaped the first set. I won it, which was great because it did give me a great like a confidence boost to start the second strong, and I did so by breaking him early, and I felt much more loose in my shot making, much more fluid in the way my shot started pressing a little bit more, and I was not too much concerned of like I gotta make shots into the court. It was more like I can risk a little bit more now. I can let my arm a little bit more free, and of course it was a great outcome when I was able to play that way. The next two sets were quite solid from my end, and I made a great big step to start playing towards the way I wanted from the very beginning of the match. Yeah.
Well done today. I don't know how much you've been keeping up with your rivals. Obviously, there were some doubts about Novak, Jannik and Carlos coming in. What do you think their chances are like at the French, and what do you think your chances are like after your great start to the clay?
Well, I think it's split equally from all sides, and there's not one particular player that is perhaps, you know, like thinking about it now, I would say probably Novak Djokovic is still the favorite because he has won here a few times. And I would still believe that, you know, he's considered someone, despite maybe not the best results from his side in the last few weeks in terms of like we were used with Djokovic winning almost every week, and it hasn't happened in the last few weeks. But I still consider him the favorite. Obviously, Carlos Alcaraz always remains a favorite, and so does Jannik Sinner. I feel like these are opponents that can play all around. Equally on all surfaces, and they have incredible shots and of course speed on the court. They have what it takes to play good on clay, and a few other players that I haven't mentioned as well.
Thank you. Next question. Don't be shy. If not, we're gonna move to Greek.
When you were coming up and you were sort of 19, 20 years old and you were beating people like Roger, Novak, people put so much expectation on your shoulders, and it feels like then they move on to the next shiny thing, like someone like Carlos or Jannik or Rune. How does that feel like for you mentally to be put on such a pedestal when you're so young and then have to kind of get to your mid-20s and feel like you haven't done what people told you should have done?
Well, I got my fair share of let's say the next big thing, as they said. Well, the next big thing after Federer, I got that a lot. I never took it seriously because I really didn't want to be that one other guy that, you know, just happened to be Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic, and well, suddenly it's this titles that they give immediately to players, and this big sort of flashy names that they obviously expect them to perform and win Grand Slams immediately after that. And I've had my own journey on that, and there have been times in my career where I've been reflecting on the things that I have achieved the last few years, and of course I wouldn't lie that I haven't been entirely satisfied and happy with let's say the way my results has shown in the last few years. I feel like there is a gap, and I could close that gap even more. There are two ways that I look at it. One is like I'm a late bloomer and I still need time to, grow into this great player that I haven't been able to really show. I have had the chance and privilege to win the Nitto finals. It's still my biggest moment in tennis. But I still feel like there's more to it than just that. And I've won 3 times in Monte-Carlo. It's a great feeling to be crowned the Masters 1000 champion, but I still do feel like there is much more to achieve and accomplish in the sport, and it doesn't stop there. I just wait for my opportunities. I hope they show up, and I hope with... there's obviously a lot of hope, and I keep saying hope, but I'm targeting those big matches that will show up at some point during hopefully this week or next week or the next few months. I am mentally preparing for those battles, and I know that these matches are the kind of matches that I will have to get through and perhaps write history if I'm able to overtake them and win them and capture those moments in a positive way.